Okay, we're going to create a couple of pages and a new directory inside of Kompozer. First, I'd like to show you, this is the home page for Store 0 on iOrder Print. You can see it's empty within a default Apache web page. You look in the local directory on our C drive in Store 0, it's empty. And if we were to look in core FTP, both the C drive directory and the root directory on iOrder Print, both showing empty. So first thing we should do is create an index page for the home site, for the home page here. So what we'll do is we'll call it we'll create some text here that simply says index store 0, and then create a link page for a customer you may have. Just call it Joe, but it could be a restaurant or lawn service or anything like that. So what we're going to need is a link for the text on the page, and we know we're going to create, it doesn't exist yet, a directory called Joe. And you could actually say that links can be opened in a new window, or we're going to actually change the window in the browser, so that's enough. So now we show that we have a hyperlink. So let's go ahead and put that up without creating a directory, and we'll see what happens. So we'll save this as we're going to give it a title here. So at the top of the browser, each page you may want to create a title for the page as opposed to being called untitled at the top of the browser. And I'll show you what I mean here in a minute by that. So I'm going to hit OK, and we're just going to simply save it as index.html. Whenever you call a web page index and it's in a root of a directory, that's the as opposed to home page or anything else. All modern web servers will realize that that is the home page. So we'll go ahead and we'll save that into our C drive in Store 0. Okay, so now you can see over here in our site we do have an index.html. However, if we look back on the website, we still have no index page. And if we look in our C drive, Store 0 does now have an index page, and in fact it's this page here. So let's go ahead and publish that. So we'll click on index, click publish, and you see the settings for the site are already been applied, and we're not going to install it in another directory. This is going to install on the root directory of Store 0, and there's no images or other files connected to this, so we're going to leave this blank. So we'll go ahead and publish that, and publishing is now complete, and this will close automatically. Now when we go back to the internet page and hit refresh, we should now see our new index Store 0 at the top, and you see the name that we gave it up here, Store 0 Index. This could of course be anything. We could call it, home page, any title that we'd want up here. Now we look down here at our hyperlink that we created, this Joe hyperlink, you see down at the bottom of the page, well, now you see at the bottom of the page, the hyperlink going to store 0 directory Joe. And if we were to click that, we get a link appears to be broken. That's because no file folder exists called our customer name Joe. So what we have to do is go back to Kompozer and create a new file. And we're going to name the file. So we're going to name the directory. Not a file, it's a directory, it's a file folder. And you can see now we have a file folder here. And if you look at our local files, we now have a folder here called Joe. So we'll now create a new folder, or a new file, excuse me, and put some text on it called Joe page. Then we'll put a link back on it. Called our home page. That's what that will be the text displayed on the page, as you can see here. Now it says home. Okay, so now we'll save this page as Joe's page for the title, and we're going to save it in the Joe directory. And give it a moment here, and we should see now Joe pages in the Joe directory. So we'll go ahead and we'll publish. And the important thing here is to set the subdirectory for this page. So we do have to say use the Joe directory. Publish. And it's closed. And now if we come back over to our browser, we have a problem. Let's check core FTP. And oh, apparently our directory was not uploaded. So let's try that again. See what might have happened. Okay. Now we have our Joe directory. But we don't have an index page here. We can see the Joe page HTML that we created, but we don't have a Joe index page. And we can go to the page. We can see it says Joe page with a home button. And we can see at the bottom that that will take us to the root directory. And we can click that. And it takes us back to the home page of Store 0 on UPS, USPS, iorderprint.com. Again, custom URLs available. It could be anything here besides for this. So now let's create an index page for the Joe directory. So we'll create a new file, create, and we'll just put a Joe directory on there, and we'll file save as give it a page title, Joe directory, and we're going to save it as index HTML inside of the Joe directory, inside of store 2000 on drive C locally. So we'll save that. And again, we should notice our new index HTML here in our directory, and locally we'll see our new index HTML inside of the Joe directory on drive C. And now we should be able to publish this into, don't forget to put the directory here, publish complete, and that'll close. And now we should, when we refresh this, get our index page. And there it is, Joe directory.